Hi, good afternoon, everyone. It's the second to last live stream we'll be doing before the end of the year, and the topic of our presentation today is gaining an edge in your job search in 2025 and beyond. And with us is our Linda Greenfield and Sophia Edwards, and Ed Lawrence will be joining us later. All career coaching experts, strategists for how to optimize your LinkedIn profile, writing the highest impact resume that you can, and also doing the coaching to help you to get to where you want to go with your job search. So today we're going to be talking about, getting that special edge that you have and showing your uniqueness in order to be able to land the job that you really want and make the money that you want this year and beyond. So we're going to start off with the question, what are 3 ways a mature job seeker could gain an edge? And Linda or Sophia, either of you can jump in with that.
I think the first thing that's really important for a mature job seeker is to show that they're up to date on tech. So being proficient in AI now, and then all and any relevant platforms that the job seekers industry uses that's up to date. And I think that's typically when you think about ageism, one of the biggest concerns, is this. You know,
I couldn't agree more. Upskilling and staying current. And, there are free things. If you have a premium LinkedIn account, you can use their LinkedIn Learning. There are all kinds of MOOCs, Coursera, Udemy, others that can help you become more attuned to what the most cutting edge technology is. And everybody's heard about AI, but there's a lot more to it than that. And I'm sorry, but I have to grab my charger. The other piece is leveraging their experience as a strategic asset. And I've read a lot on why people think experience equals high pay, but that's not necessarily the case. A lot of times executives just want to do the things they like doing. They're not trying to necessarily, I'm not saying they don't want to be paid, but they're not trying necessarily to drive the range of the job up. They want to be engaged and productive and making a contribution.
Yes, that's for true. I'm trying, go ahead and talk some more about that because Ed is having difficulty getting in, and I'm just trying to monitor to find a way to get him in. So
I have tons to say.
Yeah, tell them more.
I mean, another thing, and I know you'll agree with this, Linda, is not having experience on your resume more than 15, at most 20. And sometimes that's challenging if your experience from the 1900s goes deeply into the 2000s, it's hard to completely take it off. But there are ways to demonstrate your experience and expertise. I just had to get somebody to remove from a LinkedIn post that they were 66 years old. My expression about that is don't hand them the calculator. You can demonstrate the diversity of your experience, your deep expertise, without framing your age as stuck, right? You want to show that you have resilience.
I absolutely agree. There was an article this week in the Wall Street Journal about how a lot of job seekers are getting rejected for having too much experience. And that one suggestion was thinking, going back even less than what we would say the 10 to 15, 8 to 10, and really, the whole idea is focus on what's super relevant to the position that you're looking for. But the idea, couldn't agree more about not giving someone a calculator and taking the dates off your resume and LinkedIn for your application and a number of things that way. And LinkedIn Learning, I'm a big fan of. I love it. Goes right on your profile, courses and certifications. And a lot of libraries, with your library card, you can get LinkedIn Learning for free. And if you know someone who has an upgraded account, they can gift you 2 free months of an updated account as long as you haven't done a freebie before. Yeah,
So, with regard to that link, the getting LinkedIn for free, if you have a library card, I know a lot of people don't know about that. And so I know that you get the courses for free. Do they give you a certification too, if you're going through it from the library card perspective?
it's just you. That's how you get into it, and then you're on LinkedIn.
And then it's attached to your profile when you complete a LinkedIn course.
Yeah, that's great. Another area that you can also get certifications is through Coursera.org. And it's not expensive to take those courses. Some of them, for example, I was just looking at one about, I'm probably going to sign up for it myself, about how to create custom GPTs. And it's part of a fuller certification, but if you complete that one module, you get a certification for it. And it's, well, in Canadian dollars, it's $67, but it's probably a lot less in American. And because we pay $1 million if you pay 10. And I think I think that they are going to have a Black Friday deal where you can get Coursera.org, take any course on there, and it's probably it's less than $300 for the entire year.
Oh, wow.
So you can sign up for the year. So I would really look into that, because as you're saying, the more certifications you have, it shows that even though you're more mature, that you are open to learning and that you're up to date with what's going on. And that really counts when you go into an interview and when you can show those things on LinkedIn and on your resume. Welcome, Ed.
Hello.
Hi, Ed.
So we can go on to the next question. What are 3 networking techniques your clients have reported as most helpful and giving them an edge? What are your clients saying about the technique that they're using? So are you open to jumping into that one, Ed, since you missed the first?
Sure. So I've got 2 off the top of my head. Number 1 would be informational sessions. The sessions where you meet with somebody and you don't ask for a job. You try to find out more about what they do, what they love about it, try to get AIR, AIR, advice, information, referrals. And the other technique that a colleague of mine and former client is really pushing right now is direct reaching out directly to hiring managers, recruiters. So he advocates you can find the role, the job on LinkedIn or online, but stop applying online. This is a very interesting networking approach, and a number of my clients are now working with this colleague, and they're very impressed. They like how the program is going, and a number of people are saying they're actually getting better results.
Yes, and one thing I know about that is I've been encouraging my clients to do the same thing, to reach out to, if they can find the hiring manager, to reach out to them, and instead of applying for a job. And it's working. Like people, they're getting people to respond, but they're reluctant to do it at the beginning because they think, can I really do that? But I think the attitude that you can help them to develop a different attitude about looking for a job when they're networking or when they're reaching out, is that they're not looking to ask somebody for something. Like, it's not like they're begging, and it's not like the hiring manager is level up from them. they have to start thinking about the people that they're reaching out to as partners, developing relationships with a new partner, and that they can help the person just as much as that person can help them. Because this it's like this reciprocal thing. It really works. We all should be helping each other, right? Sophia,
I love that perspective, because I try to tell people that you're not bothering them, you're not asking for something, you're doing them the favor of making them aware of your capabilities. I mean, this is, and one of the things that I really like to focus on is networking is not something you do just when you're looking for a job. It should be ongoing all the time, so that you're not imposing on people or feeling that way just when you need a job. When I think about networking in its purest sense, I think about it as speaking to decision makers prior to a posting going up. Because most of the time, much of the time, I won't say most, when a posting goes up, they already have in mind who they want. It's just an HR exercise. But by making connections with decision makers in advance, and it's like the informational interview that Ed was talking about, you're not asking for a job, you're gathering market intelligence, because you're in sales now. And so you're just meeting with decision makers to learn more about their organization, to get their advice, the first letter in AIR, and to get insights about the future. Because typically a job search for senior execs is a marathon, not a sprint. And so you should not be feeling desperate and I have to get an offer in the next week. That's not fair to the people who may have been in the market for a while and need something sooner rather than later. And I advocate that those individuals attempt to market their expertise on a consulting basis. Because while consulting long-term may not be your goal, in the short term, it really doesn't matter what your relationship with the employer is. The exchange of capabilities, expertise, insight is the same whether you're an employee or a consultant.
Absolutely. Yeah. Anything else?
I'd add a little. I totally agree with everything. I love and do recommend finding a hiring manager and reaching out. If there's a problem with that, finding someone on the team. And my favorite question is, what are the issues, challenges, and problems you're facing today and you see coming up? Because this information will be really useful when you're talking to people and describing how you can help them with whatever's going on in their department, in their company right now and coming up, that you're hyper targeting your pitch to them. And also just to piggyback on talking to people, the catchphrase of never eat lunch alone, but to think about both internal and external networking. So, the people at your current company, to just set up time with them, and then in your broader job function and broader industry, to think about talking to people in both of those.
Because you never know who knows who, number one. And number two, if you are very broadly exposed to opportunity anytime, you can go to industry events, you can volunteer, and it's a very tiny world at its bottom line. And if you have a branding statement that's pithy, that is easily repeatable, then it's easy for people to spread the word on your behalf.
Right. Absolutely. You just don't know who's talking to who. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I think so I think I'm going to ask this question because I think we could talk about this forever. And we have about 15 minutes left. How are AI and technology changing the job search market right now, or changing the way you search for a job and the things that you do? Sophia, do you want to start with that one?
Of course. I mean, I think one of the most important things is realizing that the first look at your resume is by a machine. It is not by a person. And therefore, you have to have something that is easily parsed when you're applying online and something that's easily digested when your materials are being shared, that leans in on skills-based hiring. And so I think leveraging AI for research, identifying gaps between skills and postings, and being disciplined about follow-up will be very advantageous, and AI can help you with all of those pieces.
How would a person go about making sure that their resume is customized to fit the job posting using AI? How would they go about that?
Are you asking me or the other folks?
I'll ask Ed. He's looking like he wants to answer.
No, I'm just going along with the flow. But
Go
I
for
can
it.
answer that in part. As you know, I've told you guys before how I'm intentionally on the lagging edge as opposed to the leading edge of AI, watching it more because I tend to find that people are misusing it. But in this case, what people can do, and I think Sophia and Linda know more about this. I've seen plenty of articles where people, have sample prompts to ask. And you can upload the job posting, you can upload your resume, and you can give, very detailed prompts. And again, I think my colleagues here may have more actual experience with this than I do. But that's the direction in which people are going at the moment, from what I've seen.
Yeah, I would agree with that, but if you're using AI to help tailor your resume, first put in a heavily sanitized resume. When I do this, I leave off the contact info.
What did you say? First do what, Linda?
Leave off the contact info of the person's resume. I changed company names, I changed school names, and I changed the settings on all of my AI tools to say, do not use my data to train your model. So I think that's important too.
Yeah.
And also, I'm not a
Okay,
fan.
so that's a good. I just want to clarify something there. You said remove all your contact information from your resume. Well, why is it important to remove the information about the company that's posting the job?
Not the company posting the job. What's on your resume?
Okay.
So if you work for, Salesforce, you might want to take that off and just say company S or something.
Yeah.
Just to reduce any identifiable things that could slip through. I'm just I'd rather have layers of privacy to make sure, because you never know when things change with AI and any tool really. Every platform changes their settings and things when they want. So I like to try to do as much as I can for that. And I'm also not a fan of prompting saying, change my resume to target this job description. But what I like is saying, look at this job description, look at my resume, go through the differences and ask me questions about how I can improve. Because sometimes it takes things out that are important. Sometimes it makes things up that just didn't happen, or add metrics that, are just not right. So, I like the idea of having it ask questions.
Mm-hmm. One of the things when you talk about metrics, one of the things I like to do with AI is to just put in the title of the job and the description that they have on the resume and their bullet points, and ask the AI to give me some, especially when they don't have metrics, they don't have the proper metrics on their resume, to give me some suggestions for metrics that would really fit with this with this particular bullet point or this particular responsibility. And so then they can put in the appropriate metrics for making that, creating more of an impact with the experiences that they have. Sophia, did you have some thoughts on that?
I agree with what both of you have said. I've done both of those techniques. I will say that JobScan, which you can get 5 free scans a month, it's okay to put your personal identifiable information, PII, in it because they have guardrails in place to protect you and your privacy. But when you're accessing ChatGPT or Perplexity or Claude or any of those, I do recommend you take your PII off. And I also recommend emphatically, do not let AI write your resume. Do not say, rewrite these bullets or write a resume description based on my job title that will help me get this job. I've had too many people do that, and because I'm very granular going through it with them, I'll say, tell me more about this, and they say, oh, I didn't do that, AI just wrote that. And it makes me insane because they are not prepared to interview effectively. They will be thrown out of the pool immediately if that happens. And it sounds like you have more to add.
I want to tell you guys, I had a meeting just recently with a committee at one of the national organizations. And one of the things they said that is happening with submissions for certification is that the resumes and cover letters that are coming in contain information that is not in the profile for the application. And it's not required, perhaps, or listed in the job posting that is used, along with this fake profile. In short, people are using AI, and again, as Sophia has said, it's hallucinating. It's making things up, and the people just add it onto their submissions, which means, of course, they fail.
Yeah.
So if they're failing for, a exercise to get a certification, they're certainly going to fail, at being brought in for an interview or at the interview, as Sophia said.
Another thing that I thought of because I just had a conversation with one of my clients about this is that, a lot of times, I don't know how many companies you recommend your clients look to, but a lot of times when clients are getting fatigued about sending their resume in and not getting any results, it's because they're not targeting their resumes properly. So we try to get them to choose companies that they would like to work for, choose companies in the industry, in their industry, or maybe a side industry, or so 20 to 30 companies. And that's a difficult thing to do if you're just kind of think about, okay, where am I going to find these companies? But you can actually go to Perplexity and put in a prompt of companies within this industry, this size or whatever, get a list of companies, and then you can create your form where you have the company, and then and in Perplexity, you can even find who the hiring manager is for the particular role that you're looking for, the particular department, or the head of that department. And you can contact these people and put that in your little matrix, create a matrix so you can, and a date for when you contacted them, the next time you contact them, and so on. So you have gets AI to help you create a system to do your job search.
This would be an interesting GPT that we were talking about to automate that. Yeah.
A custom GPT, that would be an interesting custom GPT to build. Maybe we should do it, Linda. Here's a really interesting question that Sophia brought up earlier too that I've never thought about, but it would be good to think about. How does reverse mentoring increase your value proposition? So, Sophia, do you want to tackle that?
Sure. I think demonstrating that you're open to receiving information and advice, insights from junior colleagues signals that you're open, that you're adaptable, that you're a continuous learner, and that you have a more modern approach to leadership. Really focusing on level as a means for who can give you advice is very old skill. It's a proactive approach to diversity and inclusion. It promotes a collaborative culture, and it gives you insight into digital trends. I was at an HR conference a couple weeks ago, and they had a list of slang terms. And I was in a triad, and even though I was a little bit older than those women, I knew more of the terms, both because I'm very active on Instagram. I'm a big consumer of information and news and Instagram reels. And, I knew what a zaddy was. I knew what sus meant. And many of the listeners probably do too. But being up to date and enabling and facilitating two-way learning helps promote a better intergenerational workforce. And that's, very important, because as you get older, whether you're senior or not, high probability that the person you'll be reporting to may be older than you. Mm-hmm. And discounting them based on that factor alone is limiting.
Maybe younger than you. You may report to someone younger than you. Yeah. I agree. I agree with absolutely everything you said, and it enhances your professional brand, showing that you're adaptable and open to work with people of all ages, because workforces are multi-generational, and the idea of learning from each other and that continuous learning mindset is essential just for career stability, even, because though everything around you is changing. So even if you don't want a new job, you still have to keep learning, because the tools and everything else, the world of work is changing. So I couldn't agree more, and enhances culture and everything else.
I'd like to hear what you think about it, Ed.
Oh, did you?
I'd love to hear what you think.
Some of the audio's not coming through quite well today. I'm thinking back to when I was very young and layoffs were first starting, and I saw an attitude from some, at the time, middle-aged workers. They owe me, or I already know everything, or that won't work, and I'll just say none of those attitudes or suppositions are going to increase your value proposition, because people notice. Whereas if they do the opposite, all the things, Linda and Sophia talked about, that's going to be noticed too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it just creates a better atmosphere altogether in the workplace, doesn't it? When people are reaching up and people are reaching down, and even interdepartmentally to learn about someone else's job and what they're doing. And if you're all doing that, then when it comes layoff time, the people that are more visible and are helping each other people within the company, sometimes those are the ones that are kept because they have a better attitude about things. And people like working with people they get along with.
And there's so much data that diversity of thought makes companies more productive and more profitable. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what you have to promote.
Yeah. So we've reached our 30-minute mark. Do you each want to say something to end off the session? Give us a little bit to go home with. I'll start with you, Linda.
Just the idea of always learning, just how important it is to keep learning, to keep open, to keep meeting people, to always broaden your perspective, and how much fun that is.
Always learning. And you, Ed, what's your takeaway for people today?
Well, a lot of what we've been discussing, is about how things are changing. And I'll just remind people, remember, nothing is static. It's evolving right in front of us. The pace of change, it seems to be accelerating. We have to be nimble and ready to move quick.
Yeah, absolutely. Sophia?
I would just say that building relationships, and we said this earlier, regardless of who they are, where they are, think of your world as a 360 degree, it's the mailman, it's the mulch guy, it's your kids' parents, friends' parents. You want to build relationships and build connection. And over time, that will serve you well in your career and in your personal life. You never know who knows who.
You never know who knows who. And so I think learning as much as we can, building relationships, learning as much as we can about the things that gives us an edge personally, learning how to use AI and technology to our advantage, are all things that we need to be doing right now to give ourselves the edge in 2025 and beyond, as Sophia emphasizes. So something I want to offer to you who are watching this, we are just a little bit ahead of you with regard to AI. You may even be ahead of us, but if you're not, then we're only 1 or 2 steps ahead of you. So we're all learning at the same time. And one of the things that I've been learning to do is to create custom GPTs with using ChatGPT to really move faster within everything that I'm trying to do, and put our frameworks into a place that are easily accessible and easy to work through. So one of the frameworks that I use with every client is how to figure out your value, your unique value. What is your unique value that you bring to any organization, any place that you go where you're talking to somebody? What do you do? Who do you do it for? And how do you do it? So if that's something you would like to be able to do really quickly and learn how to do it fast and get a really good result, DM me after when you watch this, and I will send you a custom GPT that you can work through within 15 minutes to get it done. So thank you for attending today. And our next session is Wednesday, December 3rd at 12 noon. And that will be the last one for the year. So we look forward to presenting our updates and how you can gain an edge in your job search.
And I know all of us are willing to connect if you'd like to.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
DM all of us.
All right.
Okay, take
You're
care. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.